Hello, welcome in everybody to Card Shop Guys Podcast, episode 10.
I'm busy. Hold on.
Krause is busy, and we all run on Krause's time, so.
I was just looking up the Japanese special collection boxes from Tohoku in Hiroshima and Fukuoka. Trying to figure out. Oh, nice tone. Trying to figure out if they're the new ponchos or not. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Only one of them I think is super cool because it's got the Pikachu and shiny Gyarados in it. I'm not really a Gyarados stan, but I do miss having a nice Gyarados card.
You've been talking about it for a minute.
I have, because it's stuck. It's stuck in my head that I think you have to go back to the Gold EX to have a nice Gyarados card.
Yeah.
Or like rare collectible Gyarados card. And that doesn't align with how I feel Gyarados lands in like the mythos of Pokemon. And I'm not talking about like power and stats. I mean, we all know in Gen 1 it wasn't a very strong Pokemon, but just like the
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows when you start up Fire Red, Leaf Green, the first water type you're trying to get is that Magikarp Gyarados.
Yep.
Because you want to run around and just feel like a badass.
All right, here we are doing a little pre-recording. This coming week is a little bit out of whack from scheduling, so we are going to skip some of the normal stuff that we do during our podcast, and we're just going to kind of jump right into, they released all of the cards in perfect order. They released the full set list. Not perfect order, sorry, Chaos Rising.
Yeah.
Which
So
is the
just
set after perfect order. Yeah, super confusing.
backtrack a little bit. Shorter episode this week. We're going to be covering mainly meta stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about perfect order, pre-release, what kind of promos you probably want to try and snipe if you can when you go to your pre-release. We're going to talk about Ninja Spinner, some of the cards we think could be impactful to the meta out of Ninja Spinner, and then we will also talk a little bit on Chaos Rising. We got the ETB reveal today.
Yep.
So we should start seeing products of that come up for pre-order. And we'll wrap it up with some Tinker Time, a mini version. I have a little something special planned today. I think you're going to enjoy it. So
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about pre-release starts. I want to say it starts on the 13th, or the 14th. It runs 14 through 22. 14 through 22 is pre-release. That's the window that you can host a pre-release as an official Pokemon play. And then 23 is early release. Sales can happen if you're a Play store. And then 27th is the street date. So that's kind of so you got a couple weekends there to be able to get a pre-release in. There's 4 different promos. There's the Superior, which has for 1 grass, this attack does 20 damage for each of your Pokemon in play. I don't know what the pre-release decks, the contents of the pre-release decks, right? But my assumption here is you're doing 100 damage for 1. If you can get your full bench out, you can do 100 damage for 1 energy. That seems pretty strong, but it is a stage 2. The second attack there is for 3 energy, do 100 damage. If Rose's Encouragement is in your discard pile, the attack does 150 more. Can we talk about...
they have the new grass energy too, the special energy that gives you 20 more HP.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that'll be included in pre-release.
I would assume it would be in the Superior deck. I'm trying to find Rose's Encouragement real quick. There should be some synergy there. So Rose's Encouragement, you can only use this card if you have more prize cards remaining. So if you're behind, and reminder, in the build and battle environment, you only have 4 prize cards.
Right.
And you have a 40 card deck. So instead of having 60, right, you only have 40. So attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. So we'll talk about this when we get into Ninja Spinner. But specifically for that superior, being able to use a Rosa's, attach 2 grass from your discard, and then put them on the superior because it's a stage 2, you're going to do 250 damage, which in a pre-release environment, depending on what your opponent pulls or whatever the case may be, that's a heavy hitter. And reminder, it's basic energy. So we'll talk about the grass special energy coming up. There's 2 fighting types. One is interesting. It's how would you say this one? Barbarical, like barbarian.
Barbarical.
Barbarical
Yeah.
or barbarical?
I used to call them Barbanacle.
I like that. Yeah, because
There's no N in there.
Yeah. But it's like there's Knackly and Knackle and Knackle Stack and Gigantical,
Yeah.
right? I like it. I kind of like Barbracle, especially if you have like an Aunt Barb.
Barbracle.
Barbracle,
Yeah,
like
I'm
Barbara. Anyway, Stone Arms. Once during your turn, you may use this ability. Attach a basic fighting energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So from your hand. So energy acceleration for fighting is fantastic. It's been
especially
missing.
with Mega Zygarde
Yep.
being a main EX in this set, and I think it needs like 5 energy
Yeah.
to power up. We'll get to Mega Zygarde.
Yep. So for this is a stage 1 for 2 fighting, 1 colorless. It does 80 damage. So not really a main attacker for what you got here, but you really want it out for its power in the opportunity there for the ability to be able to accelerate. Another fighting type, Tyrantrum, one of my favorites, mostly because I was introduced to Pokemon video games in the X and Y series, and Tyrunt and Tyrantrum were my homies.
I know you're jacked for this one.
Yeah, this one also has an ability, Tyrannically Gutsy. Love it. If the Pokemon has any special energy attached, it gets 150 HP. So you go 180 plus 150, that's 330 on a stage 2 single prize Pokemon. Is pretty beefy. For 2 energy, flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, and it does 160 damage. So just in case you didn't know, milling is the official nerd word for making your opponent discard cards out of their deck/library. And it is a win condition if your opponent on their turn cannot draw a card to start their turn, they lose the game. And so in an environment where you go on a heater and you keep getting heads, and once again, in the card game, Pokemon card game, you're actually not flipping a coin. You usually are rolling a dice. Odds on the dice are going to be tails, heads are going to be evens. And so if you got the lucky touch with the dice and you get, 3 or 4 cards milled and it happens to be an Erica's, or you're playing against a superior deck and it happens to be there. Now, if it's their energy, that's beneficial to them if they have Erica's. But anyway, you can see what that strategy is. And then the fourth Pokemon they've got here is a stage 1 Doublade, which has a 2 colorless attack. Reveal any number of Hone Edge, Doublade, and Aegislash from your hand, and this attack does 60 damage for each card you revealed in this way. So, as a reminder, in Build and Battle, there is no 4-card limit on what you have. So, if you get your Build and Battle deck, and then you get 3 packs, and if you just happen to hit a bunch of them and you have them in your hand, all of a sudden you've got major ability to do damage in a Build and Battle in a pre-release environment. So 2 colorless, stage 1. Generally speaking, outside of the Tyrantrum, which is hitting that 300 if it's got the special energy, 200 damage is probably going to be your top end for requirements for damage to be able to just wipe the slate clean with your opponent. So in
in most cases in pre-releases, if you pull an EX, it's going in your pre-release.
If you can, and if you can figure out how to get it in there. If it's a stage 2 EX and you don't have the others, you're like, dang. But
I remember I went to Mega Evolution pre-release, and I pulled 1 EX, and it was Kangaskhan. Mega Kangaskhan. So I just was throwing down a 300
chicken
HP
dinner.
basic.
Yeah, and drawing extra cards. Yeah, doing whatever you wanted.
Yeah, I went undefeated.
When Journey Together came out, Hop's Cramorant allowed you to attack for no energy.
Yeah.
If your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards, which is the basic game state for the beginning of all the games. Okay, a couple other cards to note here. You talked about this. There's a special energy for grass. There's also a special energy for fighting, which once again has a little synergy there with Tyrantrum, which gives it the extra 150 HP. The grass special energy adds 20 HP to the Pokemon this card is attached to. So it's a grass energy, and it gives it 20 HP. So it's like a Timu version of Bravery Charm.
Right.
But it's not stage dependent either. So that, as much as I hate to tell you that your Algebra 1 teacher was right, math is important as an adult playing board card games. So sometimes that 20, as an example, not for pre-release, but if you're playing a grass deck and you're fighting up against, Monkey Dory, Frostlass type deck, or a Dragapult deck, or we'll talk about this in the future, the Greninja deck, having 70 hit points on your basics or 80 hit points or things makes the math not work to be able to get a board wipe in or to get an extra prize card when your attacker has the ability to add damage to your bench. And so 20 HP sometimes can screw things up and go from having your opponent being able to do 5 prize cards in a turn because they set up their damage well to, you get to play 4 of these. You could potentially disrupt, 3 or 4 prize cards.
I mean, even 10 HP at times.
Yeah.
Holucia came into the format and just changed Dragapult completely because it could take 10 HP off of something.
Yeah, and then you got the rocks, Soul Rock and Lunatone that are 110. I feel very confident about that, as you can tell by my facial.
Throw it up. It might be 130. I don't.
Even Monkey Dory's at 110. And so when you're playing Dragapult and you see a Monkey Dory over there, you know that you can do 30 with your monkey, you can do 10 with Holucia, and then you can do 60 damage with the Dragapult attack, and you're 10 damage short to be able to wipe out a Monkey Dory, which is very important in that specific type of face-up to be able to move damage around. And so that 10 HP is exactly, it's kind of a big deal.
People will literally scale their decks around whether or not they want a 70 HP or 80 HP.
Correct.
Basic.
Which one is more optimal?
Because they're afraid of Holucia.
Yep.
And the drawback is 80 HP Pokemon typically have more retreat costs.
Yep.
So that's something that players in general think about all the time.
And with Buddy Buddy Poffin in play, you can go grab a 60 HP basic and not be worried about it by throwing an additional 20 HP on it. It also does stupid things. I don't think you would want to waste this, but in some environments and some matchups, having Badoo have an extra 20 HP extends the ability to item lock your opponent. Anyway, as you can tell,
there's a
lot.
The buff do.
Yeah,
you put the Bravery Charm on the Badoo.
Right.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that this helps with. It's not the best special energy that's ever existed, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, the Rocky energy prevents all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon to the fighting Pokemon this card is attached to. So once again, just to level the playing field, effects of attacks are like de-evolution. They are the damage counters that Dragapult gets to put on your benched Pokemon.
Absol, for instance, as an effect of an attack, where if you have 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, it's just knocked out. That's an effect of it.
Roaring Moon's
Roaring Moon
attack
comes to mind. That was a big deal.
Confusion from a Monkey Dory, Poison, Burn. None of those things happen because that is a effect of the attack. It doesn't stop damage.
Dragapult placing damage.
Yep.
Did you say that already?
I did.
Okay,
but it doesn't stop the damage, right? So there's damage counter is an effect of an attack. Right. Damage is not. So Grimmsnarl has a attack that does 180 to the active and 30 to the bench. It's still going to hit the bench. Right. This doesn't protect against that. But if it said push damage counters, this caught some attention in a Champions League in Japan. Arboliva EX does it's an effect of the attack,
right?
And so this type of energy language would protect against that. So okay,
all right. Before we move on to the set itself, perfect order, because there are specific cards I do want to talk about from this set.
Yeah.
Which pre-release promo do you want?
Tyrantrum.
I knew
all of them.
You know what I want? Barbara Ackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think the energy acceleration and a stamp version to throw in my deck.
Yeah.
I would prefer to have that over. I just don't think Tyrantrum is going to be something that's going to be.
It's not. It's going in my binder next to all
the
other Tyrantrums.
That would be cool too. Yeah. It might be though. There might be something with Tyrantrum with that ability that gives him all that HP.
Yeah. Depending on. I don't know
What's
where.
It give him 150?
Yeah. So you're at 330.
330 is a single prize.
On a single prize,
but
it comes from an item.
Energy on that thing.
It starts with an item.
Yeah, well.
I mean, but there could be something. Somebody will cook something up
for your fossil.
Yeah, put your fossil up. Okay, let's jump into the set. So the most important thing in this set is the reverse hollow Talonflame. Why is that the hit of the set?
Is that because it's Shinji Kondo?
It is because it is Shinji Kondo. That is correct.
There's-
Firebirds are kind of his thing. Do you remember the Moltres build and battle promo that he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hot take here. I don't think it's his best art.
Oh, I didn't say it's his best. It's the best in the set. It's the only reason to buy the cards.
There is one card in this set that is going to be a staple in every deck and going to be the new Pheasant Skippity. And as a basic EX, it's going to be worth $20 out the gate, and that is Meowth EX.
Meowth.
We're talking about Luminion 2.0.
Yeah, and some of the so let's talk about the ability, right? Last ditch catch. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may use this ability, search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than one ability that has last ditch in its name each turn. So you can't play multiples and go search for multiple trainers.
Sure.
Supporters. Okay, one of the things that makes this better than Luminion is its attack. So for 3 colorless energy, Tuck Tail does 60 damage, but you put this Pokemon and all attached cards in your hand.
Yes. So for you guys who don't know, Luminion, when it attacked, it got shuffled back into your deck along with the cards attached to it. There's another reason this is better than Luminion is that it's colorless. So you don't have to put water energy in your deck if you want to swing with it like you used to have to do with Luminion to get it off the board.
You can actually put an ignition energy in it, right?
Yeah.
And have that be your engine if you're stalling, right? Because you're not going to win many TCG games by only hitting for 60 and then running away and promoting. But
yeah, no, it's not meant to be like a game finisher.
I'm just putting this together. But if you did happen to be able to slide a stage 2 Pokemon that has 330 HP that is only a 1 prize behind it, aka Tyrantrum, every time, and you're trying to stall or mill out your opponent, I mean, that is a thing. Once again, one of the win conditions in the Folsom game, not just build and battle, is to deck your opponent out.
Yeah.
And there is a fine line between being able to dig through your deck fast enough, and Cerulege comes to mind, which was a deck that placed really well at the Puerto Rico special event. It was first and second. And part of that is you want to be able to get through your deck and get energies in your discard as fast as possible. And so, when you set up your board, you have 7 cards in hand, you have 6 prize, you have 47 in your starting hand. And so from that, if you can get down to 25, 26 cards on your first turn, you're able to power up because Cerulege is at stage 1. It only requires 1 energy. You can do a bunch of damage. And so if you run into that type of deck, that style of deck that is turbo, wants to get through their draw deck fast, and then they run up against, they have to take 6 turns to get their 6 prize cards against a 330 HP Pokemon, right? That you can keep regenerating because you have access to all of your trainers and you're still doing damage. It's not a bad play. I guess you're going to run out of ignitions. There's not really a good way to get ignitions back. But anyway, Meowth is going to be out of this. When you're opening your packs, if you get a Meowth, you should have a big grin on your face. Because what that means is you don't need to open Perfect Order anymore.
And I think because the set is so, what's the word for it, limited on its quote-unquote hits, that SIR Meowth is going to probably end up being pretty expensive.
If you guys don't remember, Shrouded Fable had Fez in it. Fez was like, it started out at like a $8 or $9 card, the base EX. Got up to like 15 to 20 when people realized how playable it was, how much of a requirement it was. And at the time, the SIR was $50-$60 for the Fez.
I think it's maybe the second most expensive card in Shrouded Fable now, still, to this day.
Yep.
Thank God they reprinted Fez in Ascended Heroes.
Yep.
Because they did not reprint it for
Well, they put
Prismatic, I believe.
Correct. It wasn't in Prismatic, but they then put it in the Trainer's Toolkit. And I think it was reprinted in Terrestrial.
Yes. But they didn't put it in the English.
Yeah,
and
correct.
I was like, oh, man, this is a bummer because I was really hurting at the time for Fezes. I had so many Japanese proxy Fezes in my decks because I built a lot of decks because I just like to tinker. And so I had 14, 15 decks at the time with just like half of them having Japanese Pheasantipity, so I didn't have to go back and forth. But we missed one thing here, the Psychic Special Energy.
I was going to say, I wanted to make sure we hit the Psychic, which I think is the best special energy. Not just in this set, I think just in It's fantastic.
It's stupid good.
It's a buddy poffin, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I
So
don't
when you
have-
attach this card from your hand to
too
a
basic.
psychic Pokemon, search your deck for up to 2 basic psychic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck.
And
2
there's-
basic psychic, so there's no limitation on rule box or
None of that. So Pokepad, which we'll talk about also, Pokepad doesn't allow you to grab rule box Pokemon. And so you can go grab a mega basic psychic.
yes.
You can't grab a stage 1 or stage 2, but still really super powerful. So I'm thankful that they didn't release this energy while Gardevoir was still around. I mean, it still is. It's still legal for like another month. But I mean, you just got extra deck space. Right now, I don't think you can accelerate these from the discard pile. So there's a
No, you can't do that. Is it Hilda that
Yeah.
gets a special energy?
Yep, Hilda allows
so
you to
can't
go
Hilda
find an
for it?
evolution and
Yeah.
So if you played Hilda, just running through this in your deck, you can go get any evolution Pokemon and any energy. Can be special or basic. So you go get a stage 1 or a stage 2, boom. Then you attach your energy, boom. You get 2 basics. That seems really powerful. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Psychic doesn't need more love than they've already got. But
It's interesting. What do you think will be the front runner for Psychic after Guardy rotates? Mega Guardy is going to become its own.
maybe
like-
I don't think it's the main power. I think you're trying to limp in with some level of a Diancie, something built around Diancie.
What about Mega Clefable? What's Mega Clefable do here? So Luminous Wing with Mega Clefable. Prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon abilities done to this Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then for 2 Psychic Energy, it does 120, and you can discard up to 4 energy cards from your hand, and this attack does 40 more damage for each card you discarded in this way.
Yeah, so 3 prize cards for 280 damage and 6 energy. That seems like a lot. So you're going to have to run.
You're looping this with Wondrous Patch, right?
Yeah, once. Because you need them in your hand. You don't discard them off your Pokemon.
Hit KO anything.
No. So I don't.
320
maybe in
HP
a
is
build
a
and battle
stage 1.
environment, like this is great because being able to chunk down 320 HP, almost getting 3
That's true.
turns. But I don't think it's fast enough, or you're not going to run. I mean, 280 damage. Once again, you got a stage 1 here that's doing 320. If the damage cap is 280, you're missing a whole bunch of Pokemon that are currently. And plus, you got to play Clefairy. I'm trying to see if there's other things. I mean, Gengar single prize has, hey, if it gets knocked out, it goes back in your hand. You just recycle it instead of going in discard. Yveltal EX for 2 darks and a colorless. Knock out each of your Pokemon that has 50 HP or less remaining. That's powerful on paper, but in practice, I don't think it's there unless. You ready for this? We can't yet. Nope, we got to come back to it. Pin it. Okay, let's talk about Zygarde. Okay, Mega Zygarde.
Getting so easy. I love you so much.
The hallmark of this set, the flagship of this set, right? He's going to be on the art. He's got the gold card, which probably some of you have because you opened some prismatic booster bundles from Sam's that got the wrong packs in it, or they got the wrong card.
Dude, I saw one at the card show 2 weekends ago. We went to. Somebody pulled it there at the card show out of a prismatic booster bundle.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, was that 2 weekends ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago, but yeah, I saw it in person, and it looks pretty.
Yeah,
Well, I
pretty
mean-
cool. So you have 3 fighting attack, 200 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage. Whatever. Now this is a basic. It is 310. It is mega, so it's worth 3 prize cards if they knock it out. And then for 5 fighting energies, for each of your opponent's Pokemon, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 150 damage to that Pokemon. So that reminds me of like a Draco Meteor, right? Or like something out of the anime or the manga or whatever, where it just attacks everything. Gyarados has an attack that used to is wave or tsunami or something that hit your active and then also hit the bench for 20 or 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big deal in attack damage, but putting it on a coin flip makes it suck.
Yeah, it makes it fun though too.
In a build and battle environment, heck yeah, dude. If you can get 6 turns in or 5 turns in and have 5 energies, or you're running the Barbarcle.
Yeah.
If you're running that and you're able to do it in 2 or 3, heck yeah, what a great fun way. In a competitive environment, hell no.
Well, so there's a supporter that combos with this that lets you put up to 4 of any combination of fighting Pokemon and fighting energy from your discard pile into your hand called Tarragon.
Yep.
But the other caveat to this that makes it more interesting, in my opinion, is the trainer tool card that comes with Zygarde, which is Core Memory.
Yep.
This thing for 4 fighting energy does 350 damage, and you discard all energy from this Pokemon.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not a TM.
Right.
It's a tool card.
Yeah. So it's like Pikachu's that is currently there.
Right.
That gives it extra 50 HP or extra 50 damage. Right. So it's a Pokemon specific tool card.
Yeah.
That you would put in play that gives
and
it
for
another
you guys who
attack.
don't know, the difference between a TM and a tool card is after you use a TM, it gets discarded at the end of your turn.
Correct.
The tool card's still going to be there.
Yep.
So once you attach it, it's just an extra attack, a third attack that Mega Zygarde now has.
Yeah, and how do you get 4 energy in one turn on a Pokemon that are all the same type? Currently you don't. So you have
Barbarical.
you have attachment for turn, and then you have
Barbarical.
you got 3 of them on the bench, I guess.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's somebody can cook, somebody can try.
I just think it's interesting that he's going to have 3 options.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to Zoroark having 5 options on
Right.
the bench, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's intriguing to me.
There was a thing that this is by the way, a tool card that gives an additional attack is not a new thing. I'm trying to think where I have it. It's either,
Yeah, it was a Plasma. The Genesect had the.
Yep.
I'll throw it up on the screen. I can't remember what it's called.
There's also another one that's like it's at home. It's if you have this attack on your Pokemon, you get to add this, and it's a GX. It was a GX tool. It's like for a dragon attack.
Oh yeah.
There have been multiple tool cards that give you an additional attack, but most recently they have been from TMs, so you get a one shot. You get to do it one time. Okay, let's talk through some items. You have
Pokepad reprint.
You have Energy Swatter. Your opponent reveals their hand, choose an energy card you find there, and put it on the bottom of your opponent's deck. That's fun and annoying. Pokepad, which we talked about. So Pokepad is one of the reasons that Pokemon changed the rules on when when a set is legal to play, because of the lack of availability of Pokepads inside of Ascended Heroes. Just almost 300 cards in Ascended Heroes. It is an uncommon. Is it uncommon or
It's
rare?
a common, I think.
No, it's uncommon.
Is it uncommon?
It's an uncommon card, and so it's not easy to get a bunch of in a 300 card set. So having it be in this set, which is 130 cards, 120 cards, is going to be fantastic because it'll stop being an $8 uncommon card and will turn into what it should be, which is like a $1 card, a 75-cent card. You got
Especially
another.
now that it'll be available in booster boxes.
Yeah.
You don't have to open in specialty product just to find one.
So we already talked about Core Memory, Tarragon. We talked about that. Naveen, discard any number of cards from your hand, then draw cards until you have 5 in your hand, which is like a Carmine-esque, which gives you the option of what you discard.
It's trash.
I'm
trash card.
trying to be a positive intent here. Somebody put some effort into
A card
this.
like that needs to fill your hand to 8 at least.
Yeah, it's not Professor's Research.
You're maxing out a 5-card hand. You might as well just run Carmine.
Yeah, but you get a pick. It gives
So
you
you
the
discard
flexibility.
2 or 3, the draw 3.
Yeah. It's not great.
But that's your supporter for turn.
That's your supporter for turn.
See, that feels bad.
So, which makes me think that we'll never see this in play.
Yeah, someone will maybe figure something out with it. But yeah, it feels bad to me. I don't.
We talked about Roses. Roses allows you to attach 2 basic energies from your discard to one of your stage 2. That's not a bad card in the right deck.
Why do you think they limited that to stage 2 only?
I'm sure that there's some card that exists out there that
They probably don't want you like turbo boosting off rip to power your Absol up.
And then one of the things that doesn't have much consideration for us, because we don't play
hyper competitive
and gym leader challenge and the non-standard versions. This could allow you to be able to accelerate 6 energy to a guy before it's your turn first, then my first turn, and I get to play a support, and all of a sudden I've got this wipe your entire bench out attack.
Fair.
So there's some synergies there that we're probably just not aware of. Jacynth is another one. Heal 150 damage from one of your psychic Pokemon. Once again, not going to see much of that. Okay, where was I going? Oh,
Lumio City Stadium.
Okay.
See that stadium?
I did. Lumio City is interesting. It is an artisan for any basic, but you end your turn.
Yeah.
So helpful in setup, like turn 1 or turn 2. Like if you're going first and you have a Lumio City and you can get it in your hand, it's a great play because you can't attack anyway. Once again, maybe this is you Lumio City for your Meowth to put on the bench, and then you grab your trainer card to set up for the next turn.
So if it goes straight to bench, then you can't use the ability on the Meowth.
It doesn't go in your hand.
But you can get the Meowth out early enough to where you start swinging with it to put it back in your hand, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like it's not a great strategy.
Yeah, I think this is it's pretty neutered. It's not super powerful.
Yeah, because I remember Sir Squawks a lot, trying to get him out turn one, and then I was trying to think about that with this, but that doesn't make sense because your turn ends and you can't use his ability to rip your hand.
Right.
So I don't see a ton of use for this, but I don't know. Somebody could come up with something. Yeah,
I agreed. I don't. Maybe it's got its niche spots that it fills, but it doesn't feel like Meowth. It doesn't feel like Pokepad, which are going to be in a whole bunch of different decks. Yeah. Okay, let's come back and talk about this Yveltal, because it's going to be a blend between this and Ninja Spinner. So I first want to talk about one specific card in Ninja Spinner, and then we'll come back to talk about the Yveltal EX. The card I want to talk about in Ninja Spinner is called Book of Transformation. It's a trainer. It's an item. So you can play it. It's not your supporter. You must play 2 Book of Transformation cards at once. Choose a basic Pokemon in your discard pile and switch it with one of your basic Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, damage counters, special condition turns in play, and any other effects remains on the new Pokemon. Okay? So it's basically a, what's the dude's name? Thornton. It's a Thornton. But it's an item card. You have to play 2 of them. Okay? So in a world where that card exists, which is not pre-release and it's not for a while, it's not till May, if Grimmsnarl Snell is a thing, when you evolve to Grimmsnarl, it's a stage 2 Pokemon. So you can't replace Grimmsnarl with anything, right? But Grimmsnarl has an ability called Punked Up, which allows you to grab 5 Dark Energies and pull them out of your deck and put them on a Marnie's Pokemon. Okay?
Yep.
You tracking?
I'm with you.
Okay. So you have a couple Impidimps out. You maybe have 1 to Morgrim, and you put your Grimmsnarl on it, your Marnie's Grimmsnarl. You then Punk Up, and you grab 5 energy. Well, Grimmsnarl only requires 2 to do his 180 attack to the active and 30 to the bench. So you push your Grimmsnarl up, you're getting ready. He's beefy, he's 320. Usually Grimmsnarl is paired with a Frostlass Monkey Dory deck also. And then you play your 2 Books of Transformation. So you Punk Up, you put 3 energy on an Impidimp, on a Marnie's Impidimp. Okay? 2 on the Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's getting ready to attack. Then you play your Books of Transformation and you replace your Marnie's Imp with an Yveltal EX. And what the Yveltal EX does is for 2 darks and a colorless, knock out each of your opponent's Pokemon that has 50 HP or less remaining. So mid-game, end-game, running a Marnie's Grimlass deck, you have the opportunity to have this super powerful finisher come in to wipe out someone's bench. Pause for a second. Jack, we've had this conversation. I don't know if you'll remember it, but one of the most powerful things in the Pokemon game is energy acceleration. Yes or no?
Yes.
If you look at World Championship decks from a competitive standpoint, or you look at the most meta decks, energy acceleration is the key to being able to be hyper competitive consistently, because it's consistency that changes. When you look at Gardevoir, what does Gardevoir do? It allows you to accelerate energy to any Pokemon that is psychic, right? It costs HP, which then with Monkey Dory just allows it to be a dominant deck. Gardevoir was a good deck before Monkey Dory came out because it has energy acceleration. Raging Bolt has stuck around for as long as it has with Professor Sada. Why? Because of energy acceleration.
Yeah.
Right? So energy acceleration is key. It's what can take a really subpar deck and make it really good. We have energy acceleration coming out of here with fighting with Tarragon. Canary, it was in the last set with lightning energy acceleration. We're getting ready to have steel energy acceleration with Philippe. And so they're trying to provide some level of energy acceleration at a supporter level.
So those like Tarragon and Canary gets you lightning Pokemon. Tarragon goes to your hand. Yep. But like energy acceleration specifically to the Pokemon,
that is not a supporter. Because right now you have Crispin. That is your energy acceleration, right? And they have to be 2 different types of basic energy. So
now that we're on the topic of energy acceleration, when you were talking about Book of Transfiguration, great point with the Marnie's Grimmsnarl only going to Marnie's Pokemon. What about in Zoroark with In's PP up?
Same sort of
Energy
thing.
acceleration
But
only to In's Pokemon, and then you can transfer.
It has to be a basic,
right?
So you have to replace the basic.
Hey guys, so my recording cut out right as we were wrapping up there about using the Book of Transfiguration with In's PP up, which you can do. In's deck might be a little clogged and a little too crowded to add to Books of Transfiguration, but anyways, we're gonna move on and start talking about Ninja Spinner here, and I'll get you guys back to the video.
What is the Pokemon that allows you to accelerate energy from your discard? That there's a high performing competitor that uses it in Dragapult. Is it Blaziken currently? Just a single price
discard?
Blaziken?
Is it you talking about Blaziken EX? Blaziken EX accelerates from a discard.
Is that it?
It's from Journey Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he plays that card in his Dragapult to be able to energy accelerate for Dragapult, right? Not a ton of use, but I mean, the guy's still a top 64 competitor at EUIC or whatever, 128. And he's been cooking on that deck since Journey, right? For a minute. So there are some uses there potentially. Let's go to Mega Pyroar.
Terrible. Worst card in the set.
Cool Pokemon. Pyroar is a cool Pokemon. And in the newest game, there is a wild zone where you encounter one male Pyroar and a bunch of female Pyroar. It is very equivalent to real world lion prides. And you walk in there and you just get murdered. It's fantastic. So love the Pyroar.
Terrible playability wise.
Yeah, 290 damage with a -10 for each damage counter on here for 3 energy. Yeah, pass. Okay, we've got Keldeo, which thanks for coming in and being another worthless card. Keldeo, I think a lot of people like Keldeo. Okay, yep, so we've got...
Dragapult 2.0.
Yeah, a little bit more optionality here. So first of all, you got Froakie, which for a colorless allows you to draw a card. Great basic. If you didn't have anything else, right? And you got to put up and you got to attack, right? Gets extra draw. The stage 1 Frogadier for 1 water. Search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon, reveal them, and put them in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Once again, great. It's like they learned from Ralts and Kirlia what people want, in their basics in their stage 1. Okay, Mega Greninja EX, 350 HP. Ability, once during your turn, discard a water from your hand and place 6 damage counters on 1 Pokemon.
1 Pokemon.
Okay, so you don't get to spread it out. And then for 2 waters, you put a water energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand and have this attack do 80 more damage. So 120 plus 80 is 200. So it's Dragapult-esque, but there's 1 negative and 1 positive. Sometimes when you're playing with Dragapult, you don't want to put damage into play on the bench, like against an Absol or against Gardevoir. You don't want to have additional damage there that they can move around with a Monkey Dory. So you get the optionality there to do it or not, which is beneficial. The negative is you can only put it on 1 Pokemon. You can't spread it out. So as a reminder, Absol's attack, if your opponent has 6 damage counters on it, for 2 dark energy, you just knock out the Pokemon. So that becomes problematic when you put 60 on 1. If they have 2 Monkey Dories, boom, it's 60 moved to your active. But still, its weakness is lightning. There's not a ton of lightning being played currently. Miraidon is going to rotate. They've tried to build some support for it. Electros is a thing.
Might have Electros show up a little more.
Yeah, depending on what your main attacker is and what you're building around. But this is a great card. For all you Greninja lovers out there, maybe it takes over the meta. Maybe it doesn't compete well in the first year. And then after Dragapult rotates, maybe it's super strong. We'll see. But this is a fantastic card. If Dragapult wasn't around, this would be one of the most powerful attacks in the game. But because Dragapult exists, it's not. Right?
Right.
Two water energy.
I wish they still had something like Radiant Alakazam where you could move damage counters.
Yep. And play around with it a little bit.
I don't think this is going to be as good as people think it will. I think because of the limitations you stated, where you have to lock into 1 target on the bench for the 6 damage counters. You have to discard an energy to do the 200 that Dragapult just did.
Yep, for 2 energy.
The special water energy doesn't really help it out much. It just prevents special conditions.
I think this is super technical. You cannot take the water energy that you would put from the Pokemon into your hand and then use the ability.
Right.
So you have to use the ability first and discard a water energy. And then you have to, so that does the 6 damage counters.
I guess you don't discard it. You just put it in your hand.
Put it in your hand.
Yeah.
If it was a effect of the attack that you could discard, like an additional cost,
You're cooking.
but it's not. It's not how it works. So
I think you're cooking there. That'd be so cool if you had an attack where you can take a water energy and put it in your hand,
and it does
then
200,
you can decide
and then
if
you can
wanna
decide
do-
what you want to do for additional damage.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So okay, great card. Everybody loves Greninja. That's not fair.
How
A
you feel about
lot
the
of
SIR?
you love a Greninja. You know what? Let me look at it.
So Chewy really likes the SIR. He thinks it looks really good. I personally am on the fence on it. I maybe have to see it in person. It looks very full artish to me.
Is it the leaked one? Is the leaked one accurate?
Yeah, so
You know,
it does
it's-
have connecting art with the pre-evolutions.
it is very reminiscent of the Twilight, except the Twilight is, Greninja in front of a Jackson Pollock painting. There's a reference I about not many people are going to get.
Well, the Greninja from Twilight was done by Okagi,
Yeah, this one's done by Moya.
which Okagi did the Mega Electros and
Yeah.
some of the heroes that we like.
Which is dope.
Yeah, he did the Volcanion from Journey Together. He did
I mean,
Sarah Ledge from Prismatic.
I think this is the chase. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as a
Yeah.
$500 chase. It more strikes me along the lines of like maybe it starts at 400 and then it drops to 2. Maybe it's mid 2s like the current Greninja.
Nobody thought the Greninja from Twilight was that special, and then it became a $300 card out of nowhere. Maybe it has that Greninja staying power to make
Yeah.
it just
Yeah,
something
maybe.
stupid. I do like the gold Greninja. I feel like out of all the golds I've seen from the Mega Block,
It's the
that
best
one
one.
goes the hardest.
Yeah.
I like the upside down like ninja spin on it.
You're not wrong, but it's not Charizard. And so the Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y just, I think, dominate there. As we're talking about the SIR, I do want to communicate through Mega Floette. Mega Floette is a cool card just from the art perspective. In Legends ZA, and as some of you know, there are plenty of different Floettes. There's orange, and there's a orange flower, white flower. There's blue flower, red flower, etc. This is a black flower Floette with a blue body and the red stem on the flower. That is no spoilers here, but that is AZ's Floette. It's AZ's Floette from XY. It's in Legends ZA, and so when you look at this, as you're running around Lumio City in ZA, you can catch a bunch of Floettes, but you can't catch this one, right? And so then I was talking to Jack about this. So that's the SIR. If you roll back to the regular EX, it's the same one. It's the black flower. So that's kind of cool because it's a specific Pokemon. It's not a trainer's Pokemon. It doesn't say AZ's Mega Floette or AZ's Floette or whatever. But it is that one because of the art. It is the black flower Floette, which I think is really cool. And once again, if you love the lore and you want to nerd out, that Floette is super powerful. So I thought that was cool. Okay, let's come back to the cards, see if there's anything here. There's an interesting thing here with the Phantump Trevenant. Phantump has once during your turn, you may use this ability to choose a card from your hand that evolves from this Pokemon and put it on this Pokemon to evolve it. If you evolve this Pokemon in any way, place 2 damage counters. And then Trevenant has an attack for 2 Psychics. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on all your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, maybe.
The Gourgeist EX. For 1 Psychic, this attack does 50 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon that have damage counters on them. So if you do Phantump and you get 3 out and you have 6 damage counters on your bench, and then you Gourgeist, you're doing 330 on a stage 1 with 1. So once again, there's this number that you got to get to, and trying to figure out how to get 3 Phantumps and a Pumpkaboo, right? Yeah. In one turn, and then turn around and get a Gourgeist and get 3 Trevenants on the next turn. It's just hard, especially when there's better options out there to be able to damage, 300 plus HP. I'm not saying there's not something there, but yeah.
No, I'm with you. I don't believe. I think every set Pokemon comes up with some kind of engine that they try and make work that just doesn't pan out, and you have to try. But I just don't see it being. Which, speaking of, there is a single prize Deoxys deck that may be a thing.
Yep.
There's the single prize Deoxys that have 4 different variants that all kind of synergize together.
Yep. So there's a 2 Psychic, 1 colorless that does 80 damage, but you can't get any damage done by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. You've got another one that's 3 psychic, 120 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy attached to it, this attack does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So you've got a double attack there, which thank God this card didn't come out while Gardevoir was still running around. That would have been murderous. Search your deck for up to 2 basic psychic energy cards attached to this Pokemon. 80 damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Yeah, so there's maybe something there from a really skilled player, but
yeah, I think a lot of people thought Alakazam would be trash though from Mega Evolution, and
fair.
that thing's kind of wicked if you can get it up and running. So any single prize deck is always intriguing to me.
Yeah. Crobat's got an ability, stage 2, right from Zubat to Golbat to Crobat. That is the Pidgeot EX ability.
Oh yeah.
But it's once again it's the Temu
Put it
version.
on top of your card.
Yeah, put it on
on
top.
On top of your deck.
Which it's not horrible, but it ain't the same. There's Cobalion EX that's coming out. That is once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of metal energy from your Pokemon in play to this Pokemon. And then for 2 metal, 1 colorless, 200 damage during your next turn, this Pokemon can attack. So it's like a Iron Leaves EX attack.
Yeah.
That hits for metal.
It has the metal special energy that gives free retreat.
Yep. So
You can use some mobility there.
Is it? Yep. Any amount of metal energy, not basic. So let's talk about the special energies that they've got, that they've released. So you've got a fire energy, which is Nitro. As long as this card is attached, it's 1 fire energy. If an attack used by fire Pokemon this card is attached to, would discard this card, put it into your hand after applying damage and effects of that attack. So good for, once again, the only thing that comes to mind is the Mega Charizard, which you discard.
Basic fire energy.
Yeah, so it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe there's something coming. Boomerang's back. There's a water energy. This Pokemon that this card is attached to recovers from this water Pokemon that this card is attached to recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected. So it is a special condition clearer and then protects against that from happening. And then, as you said, the magnet energy, which has all metal energy, all metal Pokemon this card is attached to don't have retreat cost, which is big. You don't have to run air balloons or Latios or any of that stuff if you're playing, because usually metal boys are thick. Philippe, attach up to 2 basic metal energy from your discard pile to one of your metal Pokemon. So that's pretty good. But let's talk about Dragalge, Mega Dragalge. So Dragon type.
Is it Dragalge or is it Dragalge or is
it
it
is-
Dragalge?
it
Or
is
which one
not-
are you going with?
Well, Dragalge is just made up. You made that one up because what you did is you took D-R-A-G.
What is Dragalge?
That is actually the name of the Pokemon.
Is it Dragalge or
It is
Dragalge?
Dragalge.
So why did you just say Dragalge?
Well, because I like you saying Dragalge, because you just switched 2 letters in the dude's name and just decided that's what I'm going to call him, and
Oh my
then
God.
try to clown me. Dragalge. So evolves from Skrelp, stage 1. For 2 colorless, right? Discard all Pokemon tools and special energy from all your opponents. Now, this one's rough. The attack is great. The effect is fantastic, but it's a water and a dark. Water and dark. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. During Pokemon checkup, place 16 damage counters on that Pokemon. So that's 160 damage for a water and a dark, which currently isn't a combo that is currently being played. So it's going to have to be a deck built around it. But you do have a great supporter. What's the supporter?
Roxy's Performance. So during your opponent's turn, their poison Pokemon can't retreat. So a couple ways around it. Obviously, everybody can just start running switches. The other thing is you've got that new water energy that heals from all special conditions. There's a lot of these that we've seen today that have like abilities or some kind of effect within their attack to prevent effects of whatever done to them, like Clefable and a couple others. So in theory, it looks fun. It looks cool. I don't know that it has the power to really become impactful. It's just a lot of things that have to go your way.
And reminder, when you evolve a Pokemon, it also clears special conditions. Not that there's a lot of stage 1s and stage 2s that have less than 160 HP, but that's another way to clear. Okay, as we keep moving on, we talked about Philippe. You've got, and Book of Transformation. You got a big catch net. Shuffle up to 3 water Pokemon and 3 basic water energies from your discard pile into your deck. That's helpful in the Greninja environment where you're discarding a card to be able to do 6 damage counters.
I want to go back right quick before we get too far into the trainers because there's a trainer I want to talk about that combos with this. I want to go back to your Mega Floette. So this is a basic Mega with 250 HP.
Yep.
For 3 Psychic Energy, you do 200 damage. Search your deck for up to 4 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench in any way you like.
Okay.
Right? So you can Wondrous Patch to this thing to try and get it powered up real quick.
Yep.
You try and attack with this thing early. This thing could be a nightmare. If this thing starts accelerating 4 energy to your bench any way you want, you could use this with the Deoxys you just talked about.
And it does 200
that adds extra.
And it does 200 damage.
And it does 200 damage.
So it's Arceus V-Star attack.
Right.
If you remember, guys, remember that. It did 200 damage plus it accelerated 3 energy, I think, to your Vs.
Yes.
So this is not the less restrictions. So 200 damage, 3 energy, and search your deck for 4 basics and accelerate. Pause for a second. Most decks in current competitive meta environment don't run 10, 12, 13 energies. They're 7, 8, 9-ish. So this is, you get this dude powered up, and then you power up the rest of your board, and you maybe have two cards for recovery when this guy gets knocked out, right? Hopefully you retreat it back and you can move psychic energy around. But there you go. So you're right. Like it's there. You get this, you're in setup mode minus the trainer that you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so here's the other thing to this. We have, for the first time ever that I can remember in the longest time, this may have been a thing before I started playing, there's a new stadium.
Yeah.
Called Ange Floette, if I'm saying that right.
Yep.
That basically, the first stage of this is you put down a Prism Tower as a stadium, and that is also a very good card that lets you discard 2 cards from your hand in order to draw a card.
Yep.
You evolve that stadium into Ange Floette, basically. You discard Prism Tower from play to put down Ange Floette. That's the only way you can put Floette in play.
Yep.
Which gives all Mega Floette in play an extra 150 HP.
Yep.
So you're now a 400 HP Mega Floette basic, swinging for 200 damage, throwing Psychic Energy wherever you want it onto your bench.
Yeah. Yeah. There is some power there. Part of the difficulty, though, is there aren't many meta decks that are not playing a stadium. And stadiums are so powerful. Battle Cage, currently Artisan, even some of the decks that play I can't think of what it is off the top, that takes basics minus 30.
Yeah, Gravity Mountain.
Gravity Mountain, right? Stadiums have not, in this most recent season of Pokemon, have not been the most powerful cards, right? But they're still around, and they still make a big enough deal that people have to counter them. There is a Ting Lu, I don't know if it rotates or not, but there's a Ting Lu that for 1 energy does 30 damage to anything that's got a damage counter and destroys the stadium. There is a Chien Pao that play it destroys the stadium. Outside of having your own Jamming Tower is another big one that comes into play. So my only difficulty with this is I love the idea behind having an evolution and having a significant boost to your current 1 Pokemon, right? I think it's great. It's similar to the item card that attacks to your Zygarde. Right, it's the same type of mindset. It only hits 1 type of Pokemon, 1 specific Pokemon. The challenge is it's defensive, and so it gives you no impact. If you gave me the opportunity to swing for 150 more damage, then I could see how I would want to put it in my deck. Because what you do here is you push your Floette up, you have the 3 Psychic attached to it, you deal your 200 damage, like Dragapult does, right? 200 damage it's rough, but depending on what you're playing against, that could suck because you put damage on their board. And you've got your tower in place. You got 400 HP. Well, one of the highest level things that that your opponent wants to do in this moment is to get rid of your stadium. So they figure out their stadium, discard whatever tech card they're playing for that. Now all of a sudden you're back down to 250, and it's 3 prize cards, and you've got 3 energy attached to it, and you've only done 200 damage. So it is powerful. I love the direction that they're going. I just don't like it being a defensive stadium for the sake of it can just go away before you've even got a chance.
I think you can be strategic with it, though, as a late game hold until they can't discard stadiums anymore.
Because if you're sitting on your bench,
yeah,
because they missed, or it's Dragapult, it's got 200 damage counters on it, you stuck it on your bench, and then all of a sudden you play Prism Tower and Ange Floette, and all of a sudden, instead of only having 50 HP left, you got another 200 HP left. And they don't have a Dragapult. That's a really high hurdle to overcome. To be able to get
throw a Hero's Cape on your Mega Floette, and now it has 500 HP.
500. I love it.
Can you do that all in 1 turn? Can you put down the Prism Tower and the next stadium?
Yeah.
You don't play 1 stadium per turn,
so it says here, this card can only be placed by discarding a Prism Tower in play. You can play this card even if Prism Tower was played this turn.
Okay.
Yep. So it's got the specific language for it. Cool. Okay. There was AZ's Tranquility. There's another big item card here. Currently, now this has recently changed within the last 2 or 3 days. In English, Judge will rotate. There has been no reprint for it. Now, it was reprinted in Japan and was legal. And we all assumed since it was legal in Japanese, it would be, of course, it would come over to the other sets. We just hadn't had it yet. So a new Judge has been announced in
Perfect Order.
Reprint there. And so it'll be legal. It's not going to rotate. We move on down the road. But
Iono is gone.
Yeah, which people flip out when I say Iono. So Iono goes away.
You say it however you want, man.
Thank you. That's on recording, so I will throw that in your face anytime you try to make fun of me for
fine.
mispronouncing a Pokemon.
No, I still make fun of you for it. You just say it however you want.
Yeah, I have that confidence. But there's this new card called Special Red Card. You can only play this card if your opponent has 3 or less prize cards remaining. Your opponent shuffles their card and puts it in the bottom of the deck. Then your opponent draws 3 cards.
Why is this such an amazing hand disruption card?
It doesn't hit your hand.
It's an item.
Oh, well, yeah.
So it's not your supporter for turn.
Correct. So the old way of like basically phoning in, that's not the right word, almost guaranteeing victory in the current environment is, you counter catcher your opponent because you're behind in prizes to put their big dog in the front, and then you Iono them to 1.
Yep. I'll let you have that one.
Yeah.
Go on. Keep cooking.
And so then your opponent shuffles their hand. They draw 1 card. You've got their double prize or triple prize Pokemon in the active, and then you swing, right? And usually when you're behind, you've got more cards. That's kind of like this is what we're doing. This is my attack. And so what they've done in this next, after those cards, after Iono rotates, they've done and switched it. So now you use your trainer card to shuffle their deck, and then you boss's order. Right,
Yep.
So you get the same impact that you were doing before. They just switched which effect is happening from item versus supporter.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting things, and a couple things depending on how much you nerd out or pay attention. We're behind on cards from Japan, and Japan has tournaments that you can get access to on Limitless.com to be able to see what people that have access to these Japanese cards are playing in the decks that they've come up with. I don't think that it is very wise to look at Limitless and go look at tournaments that were held in Japan, and like Champions League was held in the end of February. And you've got this, I mentioned it earlier, you've got this Meganium Ogerpon deck that played Arboliva EX.
Yep. I saw that.
Just as a reminder, last year at this time, Feraligatr with Relicanth won a Champions League, right?
Yeah.
And Feraligatr, single prize, not mega, single prize Feraligatr never turned into a giant meta deck. And there's a couple things there. Some of the best brains playing Pokemon don't want to play that deck. And so you don't ever get all of the reps in it to be able to see if it's viable or not. I think Cerulege EX deck is similar to that because one of the all-time greats in the history of the game who's still playing, who's also a local, Ross Cawthon, plays Cerulege. But outside of that, the other top 50 Pokemon players are not playing Cerulege to try to figure out how to min-max it and make it better. They're taking the kind of tacit knowledge of Gardevoir's good, Dragapult's good, Mega Absol's good, etc., and figuring out how to min-max that to their playstyle against the other current decks that are being played. And so there's tons of reps that happen there to be able to figure out what's the best 60 to put in this or what's the meta call, etc. And so you don't have a bunch of top brains that played Feraligatr last year. I don't think you're going to get a bunch of people playing Arboliva EX. And by the way, if you are an Arboliva enjoyer and you're sitting on 2 pages in your binder of Arboliva EX full arts and you're like, man, I'm going to cash in on these. Sorry, fan. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah, you might have touched on this. It's best of 1 in Japan too.
Yeah, 2 days and you get to switch your decks in between.
Yeah.
And so people that win with this Arboliva deck
Yeah.
maybe made the call based on what they heard
Right.
everybody else was going to run, and they may be Raging Bull is super popular in Japan because it's one of your most consistent easy outs in a best of 1.
Yeah.
But also in this Champions League that was held, I mean, you got a Rockets Mewtwo 9th,
Yeah, I saw Rockets Mewtwo was taking top 10.
Rockets Honchkrow 8th,
Hey, let's go Porygon.
Crustle top 5. And then once again, Raging Bolt Ogerpon top 4 with no Sada, right? And so
What was the size of that tournament?
7,000.
Okay.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they only have 4 a year, and that's your chance to win Worlds if you don't travel outside of Japan. To get a Worlds invite.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tough.
One last card I want to talk about from Ninja Spinner, right quick before we get into Tinker Time, is this Gudra. This Gudra has an ability, Slimy Slip. When your opponent's active Pokemon retreats, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, that Pokemon does not retreat, and your opponent does not discard any energy for retreating. This ability's effect can't stack. What do you think about that? Kind of cheeky?
Cheeky. Once again, there's a lot of these coming out of these interesting abilities that mess with your opponent that you can't build a core deck around.
Yeah.
But once again, if you don't have the trainer and you're playing the dragon deck for Dragalge, right? This is a chance that their Pokemon dies outside of a switch card or whatever. Makes it annoying. It's annoying because it's a coin flip. Most competitive players don't enjoy coin flips in a competitive environment.
I hate coin flips.
So this gives somebody the opportunity to lose a coin flip and not be able to retreat.
I think it's super situational. It definitely seems to pair with the Dragalge, sorry.
Well, think about this. One of the current decks that it's probably a mid-tier deck is like just a big basic Terra box type environment. And it's not even just Terra, but you got some Ogre Pawns in there. You got some Mega Kangaskhan in there. You got a Mega Absol, whatever. You got all these things. They require two types of mobility. You either got the Latios, right?
Yeah.
Or you have Pecharunt. Which Pecharunt still does this, right? Pecharunt EX, you can still poison and get your different active in there, and you can have it be a Vettel, and then just retreat for 0. But here you can't retreat without flipping a coin. So it limits Pecharunt's mobility. It also limits Latios's mobility, which retreat is a once per turn event. So having at a minimum 3 cards in your deck to counter a 1 per turn event is difficult. But if Gudra starts to see play, then people will start throwing in switches. Yep.
Along with the Roxy.
Which still gives you the opportunity to retreat, but you don't want that to be left up to chance, so you do whatever you need to.
Yeah. But then you do have to still find the switch. There's just other ways that can frustrate people.
And when you talk about Mega Lopunny, it has to move from the bench to the active. Now, if you still knock out, regardless, but you can't retreat into that additional damage with a coin. It's got a coin flip. You can. You just got to win the coin flip. Okay.
All right, let's move on. Tinker time, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Tinker time. Let's go.
Love it. What are we doing?
Today, for Tinker Time,
Yep.
we're going to do our version of Smash or Pass.
Oh, boy.
All right? But not in like the weird, gross way that you're probably
oh
thinking.
Boy.
So,
This could,
For
This
starters-
could go a couple different ways.
for starters,
Yep.
crab meat tacos. Smash or pass.
Okay. I need more information. Is this in
Crab meat nachos.
Wait. No. Go back to the tacos.
It's the same, whatever.
Is it in a hard shell, or are we doing like flour tortilla street taco style? Is it in like your classic Americanized taco version?
No. So it's a boat. It's a nacho boat.
Okay, so
All right, so like
forget the tacos. We're just doing crab. Or forget the tacos. We're just doing crab meat.
Crab meat nachos.
So I've got some cheese.
Yep.
I've got some salsa, some
Yep.
guacamole. My mouth is watering. And you want to throw crab meat. Is the crab, and the crab meat seasoned to be...
Yeah, it'll be prepared proper. It's not like they're just, not even trying. They're
just, I'm not allowing you to get a bite. Right? Like, if we go to a place that has that and it's an appetizer, I'm ordering it and I'm not letting you get some. That is my meal. Just like, like if we were to order chips and salsa at a place and we sit down, I'd be like, dude, help yourself. No, not on these. These are coming to me.
You would never in a single lifetime would you say help yourself to me in a restaurant setting.
But the
anything.
expectation would be, no, that's mine. I'm consuming all of that. And then I would tell you.
That's the expectation regardless of what's in front of you.
Oh, these are so good.
Nice and degenerate.
Right.
All right, Smash Pass Part 2. 1-to-1 Japanese English sets moving forward.
We said it last week. If there's a chance that Chaos Order includes Abyssai.
Chaos Rising.
Sorry. Yeah, I combined them.
Well, we just got the ETB revealed today, and according to what Poke Beach and other sources say, it sounds like it's going to be a single 1-to-1 set for Ninja Spinner.
So news that popped today says that Chaos Rising has a bunch of products, over 120 cards, which is similar to Perfect Order. 5 Mega Evolutions, Pyroar, Greninja, Floette, Dragalge, and Gallade, Mega Gallade. 5 Pokemon EX, Beedrill, Gourgeist, Cobalion, Chinchino, and Krugado. So this is Poke Beach saying this is it.
Yeah.
More than 20 trainer cards, 11 illustration rare, 18 ultra rare, and 6 SIRs. Chaos Rising will contain 122 cards.
Third main series set in a row that we get a 1-to-1 to Japan. I think this all stems back to what I talked about, at the time of this dropping last week, is with the simultaneous release of the Celebration set, the easiest way for Pokemon to move to simultaneous release across the board is to just make everything a 1-to-1 with Japan and release at the same time Japan gets it.
I agree. This will be a 1-to-1, but they're a set ahead. So you have sets releasing at the same time. May 22nd is supposed to be Abyssai and this set, Chaos Rising. And so
it could be them like gearing towards after Celebration.
It wouldn't make sense for them to do something that a TCG has never done by having a simultaneous global release and have it be for Greninja, right? Like if they're going to do it, they're going to do it on their 30th anniversary set, right? So I like it. I don't like being behind ever, American #1. But if they can figure it out and operationalize it, and it's been in the works for probably 2 years or 3 years, they have to keep making ground on the time in between English releases has to minimize, and the time between English releases and Japanese releases has to minimize. So they have to be able to still give proper, what's the right word? I'm trying to
notice.
Think here. No, it's absorption of their product in the market. You can't just release a set and then 3 weeks later release another set. Like that doesn't make a ton of sense based on their history. So you gotta thread the needle there, and then you have to speed up the rate at which, or you have to slow down the speed at which Japan is getting sets. And so it would make sense for it to be an October release because you're coming out of Worlds. So you're not screwing anybody over from a competitive standpoint, which once again, it's not the main driving decision factor from a business, my opinion is, but it's included in the calculus. So being able to do that, I love it. I'd smash all over that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last one. New Chaos Rising ETB got revealed today.
Yeah.
Are we smash or pass on the colors and the artwork on it?
So you'll throw it up there. So It is. The regular one is blue and purple with some slight orange and pink to it. Of course, he's upside down on the spinner, right? The Shuriken. Dope. The Pokemon Center is zoomed in, different color scheme. The dice has that light pink to it. It's great.
I think full smash on this. It looks so good.
Yeah, not to pigeonhole too much. The color scheme of Journey Together was a great color scheme. I feel like they mailed it in on black and white for the Pokemon Center versus the regular. Shrouded Fable is a great color scheme, just the contrasting purple and green. But this is a good looking box. One of the challenges with Mega Evolution and the booster boxes, if you were to display them, is there's nothing on the front, right? Like if you splash up Scarlet and Violet booster boxes here versus Mega Evolution booster boxes here, right? The fronts of all of those booster boxes suck for Mega Evolutions. They're blank. There's nothing on them. So hopefully they did something different there too, because I know people like to collect the booster boxes. I am not one of them. But
so Pyroar made the pack art on the booster packs.
Yeah. And there's my Black Flower Floette. Let's go. And Greninja and Mega Dragalge.
There are
what is the
5 different blister packs. What a waste. Why do we have 5 of those?
Okay, so you got
smash or pass on the 1-pack blisters. I'm a pass.
I'm pass on all these blisters.
Yeah.
I think they suck. I think it's horrible. They don't store well. Not a fan. I do like the logo. I think the logo's cool with the water behind it.
I dig it. I like the color scheme. I like all of it. I think this set looks really nice. I still question the decision to make it a 1-to-1 set because it feels like we're due for a bigger set. I don't.
So here's PokeBeach's take. Since there are currently TCG shortages globally, it's possible Creatures is intentionally designing fewer new cards to free up printing capacity, allowing more copies of those cards to be produced, or even other sets, but this is just speculation. So...
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Well, it's going to do it for us. Yeah, all right.
Got a little bit of trauma there.
Yeah,
Not
we'll
much.
we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, see you guys. Krause out.